Hello everyone, my name is Leo. This is the supplemental video for UCSC Professor Munishkina's CSE 30 Programming Abstractions Python Notebook Assignment Number 1, Data Structures. The purpose of this notebook is to provide you with some additional knowledge about data structures that are usually called in Python data collections, such as list, dictionary, set, and tuple. Firstly, I would like to briefly talk about how to create them, their properties, and the difference between them. Let's start with list. We use brackets to create a list. List can consist of integers, strings, float numbers, Boolean values, etc. It can also be mixed. For example, I can say a list equals bracket 123 with a string hello and with a Boolean value true. Also, lists are ordered, and you can visit a single element via its index. If we do a list 0, it will give us the first element in the list, which is 1. List is also mutable. You can add, remove new elements. You can also change an element using its index. We can append the list. For example, if I want to append the float number 7.8, I can just say alist.append 7.8, and it will append to the end of the list. We can remove just simply by calling the remove method, and it will remove the remove string in the list. Also, if I want to change the second element, with which the index 1, we can just say a list 1 equals 12, and the 2 will be changed to 12. It can also contain 2 identical elements. A list with 3 ones is allowed, and these ones are ordered. I'm going to talk about tuples. We create tuples using parentheses. Tuples are ordered same as lists. It is immutable. You cannot add, delete, or modify elements in a tuple, but please note that tuples can contain multiple mutable elements such as list, and you can modify a list in the tuple. For example, if I have a tuple with several elements, like the first element is the list, and I have integers, I have strings, and I have Boolean values. If I want to change the second element, 1 in the tuple, and I want to change it to 15, it will give me an error because tuple object does not support item assignment. But if I want to change the first element in the list, and the list is in the tuple, I am able to do that. And when I call the tuple again, as you can see, the first element in the list is changed. And also, please note that tuples can contain 2 identical elements. This is what I mean by saying that it is repeatable. Tuples, lists, and strings share a lot of similarities. Firstly, for example, you can visit them using indexes. Say that I have string s equals this is a string, and I can visit the first element of s by calling s0, and it will give me t. You can also get an element index using .index function. This is my alist, and you can get the element 12 index by calling alist.index12. You can also slice them and concatenate them by performing add function. Please note that you have to concatenate 2 same data structures, which means you need to add a list to another list instead of a tuple. You can also multiply them with an integer. For example, if I typed a tuple times 3, this is my a tuple, and you can find that it will return me a tuple which is concatenated by 3 a tuples. You can also check an element's existence and count the number of existence of some element. For example, this is my list A, and I can ask if 1 in A, and answer is yes. If 2 is in A, the answer is no. If 3 is not in A, and the answer is yes. They are also iterable. You can iterate through them using a for loop. For I in a list, and I can print them out, and it will give me every single element in that list. All of them can also be a parameter for min function, a max function, and sorted function. But you need to make sure that all the elements in the list, tuple or string, should be the same type, either alphabetical or numeric, as is said here. Curly brackets are used to create sets and dictionaries. Sets are unordered, mutable, but it only contains immutable elements such as numbers, strings, and even tuples. As we can see here, B tuple is a tuple, and it can be contained in a set. Something like this. But lists cannot be in sets since lists are mutable. If I'm trying to have a list in a set, it will give me an error like this because the list is not hashable. Dictionaries contains key value pairs. It is ordered and mutable. You can change the value of a key simply by calling it and resetting them. For example, a dict. I want to change my age because I'm currently 20 and I can simply say a dict age equals 20, and when I check a dict again, the age value has been changed to 20. Last thing needs to be noted that is both sets and dictionaries are unrepeatable. They consist of unique elements. Learning the basic concepts about lists, sets, dictionaries, and tuples. Now we are going to talk about their comprehensions, which is basically a more elegant and convenient way to create a data structure in Python. Now I'm going to go over the examples given in this notebook, and I will also add some essays for the programming problems at the end of the notebook. As is shown here, list and set comprehensions are basically the same and they start with an expression. Lists use brackets and sets use curly brackets. Dictionary has two expressions since it consists of key value pairs, where the first expression is key and the latter one is value. All of them end with item in iterable if condition, where expression is the operation you want to perform on each item, and item is the current item for the iterable. Iterable is any iterable object like a list, tuple, or string. And condition, this one is optional. It is a filter that only includes items that meet the condition. And let's see some examples here. I have a list called nums, where nums equals x for x in range 10. The first x is the expression. We do not have any operation on x, so we just leave it there. And the second x is the item, and the range 10 is the iterable. We do not have if condition in this case. And if I print it, I'll get a list from 0 to 9. If I want to print a string that consists of the elements in the list in order, I can use join method. Print with a string, and I join it stir x for x in nums. Because before we join the x to the string, we need to turn them into character or to string type. So we need to have some expression in this case. And if printed, I'll get a string which is connected by all the elements in the list. And I can also separate them using whitespace. I can just simply add a whitespace here, or I can connect them with a plus sign. You can do whatever you want here. This is the hint for programming question 1. Decoding function. What if I want to turn a string into a list? We can use the split method. Say that I have a string s equals to, this is the test string. If I say words equals to s dot split, and I print words, I'll get a list that consists of every single word in string s in order. Now let me change the string s to, this is the test string a, and if I print it again, you can see we have 2 a's in the list. In some cases, I want to keep all the elements in the list unique. Therefore, we can make use of the set properties. Set is not repeatable, so if we turn this list into a set and then turn it back, and if I print it again, you can see we successfully get rid of the duplicates. This would be your hint for question 1, encoding function. What if I want to know the index of some specific element in the string? We can use index method. Say that I'm wondering about the index of letter I in string S. I can simply type print s.index I, and I'll get 2. The index method can have at most 3 parameters: value, start, and end. Start and end are optional. Value is the element you want to find the index of. Start is the index to start searching from, defaults to 0, and end is the index to stop searching at, defaults to the end of the sequence. In this notebook, you only need to use 2 parameters, value and start. If I want to search the letter I after the first I just found, I can say print s.index letter I, and now I'm starting at index 3, and it will give me 5. This is your hint for programming question number 3. Let's see one more example about list comprehension. We can create a nested list using nested list comprehension. The first comprehension is our inner list, and the second one is the other. The first comprehension creates an inner list from 0 to 2, and the other one makes it create 3 lists like that. If we change the first range to 4, the length of inner list will be turned into 4. If we change the second range to 4, we'll have 4 inner lists. Now let's go over the set comprehension. Same as before, I have a list nums from 0 to 9. Then I'm creating a set of even numbers in list nums. The way I do this is adding an if condition. I'm checking if the item var is a multiple of 2. If yes, then it will be added into the set. And if I print it out, I'll get a list of 0 to 4, 6, 8. The reason I get a list here is because I'm using the sorted method here. The last one is a dictionary comprehension example. I have a list of words, and I'm creating a dictionary of word length based on this list. As you can see here, I'm iterating through the list using a for loop. My key expression is the word in the list, and my value expression is the length of the word. How to get the value of an element in a dictionary? We can use the get method. The get method takes at most 2 parameters, key and default value, where key is the key you want to retrieve the value for, and the default value is the value to be returned if the key is not found. If not specified, none is returned. Say that I want to get the value of keyword song. I'll get 3. And it does not matter if I add another default value because I can find some in this dictionary. And if I want to d.get hello, I do not have the word hello in this dictionary, and I'll get a none. If I specified my default value to 100, I'll get 100. And this will be your hint for programming problems number 2 and problem number 4 for first 3 functions. I'll leave the generator comprehension for you to read since we will cover it in the future. Here the code is only to show you the existence of generator comprehension. Now I'm going to talk about a few additional data structures, default dict and the counter. Default dict is a subclass of dictionary. It is used to provide default values for the key that does not exist and never reads a key arrow, just like the get method we just talked about. In the following example, we can count items in a list if we use int as the default factory. First, we need to import default dict from collections, and then we create the object d equals default dict and use int as its default factory. Then we're updating the number of existence in this list. We can observe that the default value is 0 in this case. For example, if I print D100, which is a key that does not exist, and I'll get 0. And if I print a D, I'll get a default dict. And the class type is integer, and 1 shows up twice, 2 shows up 3 times, and etc. If we want to separate a list into lists of same recurring items, we need to use a list as the default factory. In this case, the value type of a default dict is a list, and the default value is an empty list. Say that we have the object and we are going over the list, and then we just append it because the default value type is a list. And if I print it out, I'll just get a dictionary like this. We can also make use of the default dict to do some kind of sorting and collecting. Say that I have a list of tuples, and I want to collect their values to make the thing cleaner. I can use a set as the default factory. And for keys and values in this tuple, and I'll just add it to the set. And if I get the sorted items, I'll just get something like this. Or I can also just simply print out the dictionary. I'll get the default class type is set, and I'll get a dictionary like this. The next thing I'm going to talk about is counter. A counter is also a subclass of dictionary, where keys are items in a given iterable and values are counts of the corresponding items. Here I'm trying to count the number of different letters in the word Alabama, and this is what I get. We can generate a new counter using the same method. And we can add two counters just simply by connecting them using plus sign. We can subtract two counters. Please note that only positive numbers can be in the counter. For example, if I'm changing the new data to hello AA, and if I run the subtract again, you can see the value of A has been turned into 1. And if I add one more A here, the A does not show up anymore because the value is 0 now. We can get keys, values, and items from a counter just simply by saying .keys, .values, .items, which is the same as regular dictionaries, because it is the subclass of dictionaries. Last thing I'm covering is function sorted. A function sorted can be used with any iterable, where iterable is any iterable object, and reverse can be assigned to true or false, and default value is false. And the key is a lambda function that specifies how sort should be done. The function sorted returns a sorted list of items in the iterable. In this example, the sorted function on our dictionary items returns a sorted list of the dictionary items by keys. For example, if I run it, you can see it's sorted based on ABC in alphabetical order. Also, it can be done reversely, just simply by setting the reverse value from false to true. And we can see it's backwards. Here is an example to sort the dictionary items by values, not keys. Just say key equals lambda item 1. It is the second element and is the values of an item. Also, we can do the same thing if we want to sort the dictionaries with keys. We can just do d.items key equals lambda item column item 0, because the first element in the item is the key. And if I print it again, I'll get a list sorted by the letter, which is the key of the dictionary. And this is the end of the video. Now your assignment is to complete the notebook exercises. Please read the instructions carefully before starting. Feel free to reach out to professor, TAs, and tutors if you have any difficulties. I will see you later. Bye bye.